Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast. Andrea Earhart here, muralist, adventurer, and your host as I interview inspiring artists who are killing it in the art game to show you that it's completely possible to make a great living doing the thing you love to do. We highlight the business side of art to help you reach more customers, increase profits, and ultimately live a life of creative freedom. Enjoy the show. This episode is sponsored by the Mural Master Program inside of the Artist Academy Advanced membership. This program is specifically designed to help you with every step of the mural process, from coming up with an idea to finding a wall to paint it on to pitching your ideas to businesses, and finally, of course, I teach you exactly how to paint large scale. Murals are a lot of fun and a great way to grow your art business. I know, because it has been one of the top ways that I've been able to grow my own art business as quickly as I have. With several years of experience as a muralist, I've dialed down the painting techniques, the proposals, the pitching, the whole bit. And now I've compiled it into one resource for you called the Mural Master Program. This is included inside of the Artist Academy Advanced membership, and I would love to invite you to join us by going to artistacademy.co, that is artistacademy.co, and click the link to see the Mural Master Program and learn more. And that's it, so let's get on with the show. This episode is all about playing the long game. I'm about to share with you exactly what I mean by that and back it up with some recent stories that I think will help inspire you to keep going. This art thing really is all about persistence and repetition and consistency and all of the things that lead to years and years of practice. However, you do not have to be a starving artist forever, because eventually and hopefully quickly it will catch up to you and your efforts will be recognized. So what is the long game? Whenever I'm talking about that, I think this is maybe like a sports reference that I'm bringing up. I don't know. I'm not exactly like a super big sports girl. Like, I don't watch football, so maybe. I don't know. So the long game it basically just means you're an artist for life. You're never going to lose your abilities. You're always going to be able to paint for someone. You're never going to, or I hope you're never going to give up on your dream, because you're in this for the long game, forever. And it's just proven. The longer you stay in this, the busier you'll get, and the more you can raise your prices. And I know it's hard to see that in the beginning when you're like, well, I get one order a year and I charge very little, and when is this stuff coming around to me? And I would say maybe you need to be pitching yourself a little bit more to people. Don't just sit around and wait for things to happen. So that's another story. That's another one. So today is all about playing the long game. We're in this for life, and the things that we do now are really going to set you up for the future. I think about the long term all the time. I rarely live in the moment, to be honest, and that's not a brag. I should not be like that, but I'm always thinking, like, my husband and I were like, we're gonna build a house in 3 to 5 years, and I just keep saying that, and eventually I just had to like map it out on my computer, and so I could see the house, and that way I can work towards it. But anyway, I'm always thinking of the long game, and the house we're in now is fine. I know I have to just make myself feel completely fine where things are at right at the moment. And everything is perfect, but I'm always looking to the future and thinking about what I could do now that will benefit me in a year from now. So some examples are of some long game things that I'm talking about are basically, okay, so there was this one guy, and I remember meeting him at a gun show, and if you don't live in the Midwest, that probably sounds super weird that there's a show about guns, and then in the United States, in the Midwest, I should clarify, because I'm sure it sounds really weird outside of the United States, but So we were at this gun show and we were promoting, and I met this guy there, and he sold guns, and we friended each other on Facebook, and that was really it. We got along. I was just like, oh yeah, this is a cool guy. We friended each other on Facebook, and we never messaged since. And we've just we've been one of those people that just kind of you follow each other's life on Facebook after meeting for 5 minutes or whatnot, and you feel like you know them, and you're like, oh yeah, that's your mom, and oh yeah, great, you're going up to camping again, that's cool. And it's just it's just weird how you just feel like you know someone, and I feel like a creeper. But anyway, so we were friends for a while, online only, and it came time for my first ever art sale. So 2 years ago now, oh gosh, 2 years ago, wow. See, a long game. But 2 years ago, I did my first ever art sale on my birthday, and I did 29% off because of my 29th birthday, and I'm about to turn 31. Oh my gosh. And and then he ended up buying a print from me when I did my sale, and I remember getting the message and the notification of the sale and thinking, I know exactly who that is because he has a very interesting last name. Okay, his last name is Love. So everybody remembers that last name. It's a cool last name. And I get the notification, so I just messaged him on Facebook. I was like, hey, thank you so much. And he messaged me back and was like, yeah, I've been following you for, I don't know, 5 or so years now, and it had been at the time, or at least 5 years. And he's like, I've seen you grow your art business, and I've just been following along, and you had this art sale, and I thought this was a great time to buy something. And I'm like, wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much. And then I had the same art sale last year for my 30th birthday, and I'm having it again this year for my 31st, just to let you know. And last year for my 30th birthday, he bought another one. I was like, what? Okay, so I'm going to be disappointed if he doesn't buy one this year. So, and that just goes to show you that if you're in the first year, don't expect people who have, just tuned into your art journey to buy everything you have. Sometimes it takes 5 years to convince someone to buy something from you, or it just takes the right opportunity. That was the first art sale that I'd ever done in my whole art career, and he jumped on it. He was like, I'll buy whatever you have. And I just want to talk about really quick too, before we get into more examples, about the reasons why people aren't buying from you right now. And it's probably because they're not ready. They're just not ready. Do you know how many times someone messages me and they're like, hey, I just bought a house. I would love to buy one of your prints. Or, hey, I'm about to move into this house. I need to decorate it. I've been following you on Instagram for 2 years. I'm finally in a position to buy something from you. And I'm like, that is so cool. That is so cool. And it happens so much. And that type of thing, though, never happened to me in the first 2 years of my art career. Never. It just didn't. And as I've been in it longer, it's been about 7 years now, and it's starting to happen more and more and more. And it's also happening more, the more I post about it, the more I promote it, the more I just remind people every day that I am an artist and I'm here, the more people are starting to jump on it. And it really just, it makes them act. It makes them, you got to show people exactly what they want. And sometimes it takes you going through to this style, and then you do a series in this, and then you're over that, and then you do a series in that, and then you're over that, and then you do this other series, and they're like, oh, perfect, I've been waiting for you to do something like that. And it's so funny because I get those messages sometimes, and people are like, I've been waiting for you to do this and this and this, and I'm like, why didn't you just ask me? I would have done it for you. Why were you waiting? I don't understand. But that's just how it is. And the other reason why people aren't buying from you is because you're not telling them that you're available enough. And I have a story with that. My aunt actually saw me doing a Facebook Live a couple months ago, and I was promoting my Print of the Month Club, and she commented on it and said, I had no idea that you were doing this. This is so cool. And she signed up. My aunt, my own family, had no idea that for the past year, I was selling a Print of the Month club for just $7. You can buy a print and I send it to you every single month. It just kind of baffles me sometimes. It's kind of like that feeling you get whenever you go out of town on vacation or something and you post about it online, you know, and you're like at the beach and with your family, or you're like at a theme park or something and you're just having the best time and you think everybody sees it, and then one of your close friends messages you and like they're like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And you're like, I'm in Colorado, Becky. What, didn't you see my post? Like, I was in Iowa for 2 weeks here recently, and two of my really close friends, like they were bridesmaids, they were like, hey, what are you doing tonight? I think we're gonna do a wine night. I was like, I'm in Iowa. Do you guys not watch my stories? Like, do you not care? I'm still here. They're like, oh, okay. Like, people, you have to remind them so many times that you are an artist and you sell this specific kind of art. You almost have to be annoying about it. And I will say, though, I've only had one person in my emails message me and say, you're being kind of pushy. And I messaged back and it's like, because I want to help you sell your art. Because it was through the Artist Academy and stuff. Because we're always worried about being really pushy and saying it too many times and, you know, putting your art out there too much. And I just want to say that if you're just putting out that you're creating art and, hey, look at me, this is what I'm doing. And if you're just doing that and then you ask for a sale every once in a while, or you take like 3 or 4 days and you ask every single day for 3 or 4 days because you're having a special or whatnot, it's okay. It is okay. I promise. And if you don't think it's okay, before you make the decision to not post about it, I would highly recommend you ask someone that you think would give you an honest answer if you're being annoying on Facebook, or if you're tired of hearing about your Print of the Month on Instagram, because I've done that. I'm preaching about it now, but I've done that before with Artist Academy. I'm like, the Artist Academy is open, it's open, come join. And I asked my friend Emily, I'm like, am I being annoying? And she's like, oh no, I think I've seen it like once or twice. I was like, that's cool, because I posted about it 5 times here recently. Do you not care? Like, no, people don't see your stuff. That's just the hard truth. People don't see your stuff. So the way around that is to get their email and post about it on Facebook and Instagram and make a TikTok video about it and post in their email again and then send them a reminder email and all of that. Anyway, I feel like, no, I'm not off topic, a little bit, but we're covering all of that, the whole email and all of that in our 4th quarter success plan, which is coming up really soon. So excited. Shout out to everybody who just joined the Artist Academy Advanced. We have 100 members and I'm so excited to help 100 members go through the 4th quarter. I'm so excited. Anyway, back on that. I just want to shout out to everybody who invested in themselves and is on the Artist Academy, or is in the Artist Academy Advanced learning. We're going through the September prep right now, and I am thinking about all of you. Another story is I just got a mural job for a restaurant up in Nantucket. And it was so funny because I posted a video that I made for this art auction or something, and I posted the video on my story just to do it because I made it and I was like, sure, I throw everything up on my story. I'm like, yeah, we'll see what works. And in this video, it was like, hi, my name's Andrea. I do this and that murals, and I'm offering you a mural, blah, blah, blah. And it was for an art auction that people were going to bid on it. And I just said that in my caption. I was like, okay, turn on. Or threw it on there. And then I got a message from a man, and he messaged me saying, hey, I would really love for you to paint something for me. I saw your video. I saw your offering that you were painting for people. I would love for you to paint something for me. And I'm like, it took that video to tell you that I paint for people, for you to commission me to do so. I don't understand what makes people's mind work sometime, but I guess he was just in the right position, and and needed it at the right time, and he saw the video, and it reminded him that I'm accepting work, I guess. I mean, whatever. But he mentioned we got on the phone, and we're actually going up there as soon as everything allows for us to travel safely and not quarantine and all that. So we're planning on going up there as soon as possible. But I was talking to him, and he's like, yeah, I've been following you for a long time, because I offered to send him some of my recent work, and he was like, no, I know exactly what you do. I've been following you for a long time. I've always wanted you to paint for me. I just maybe thought you were too busy. And I was just like, what? I'm never too busy to go to Nantucket and paint. We're actually going to paint like a giant octopus and a giant whale. So fun in his restaurant. Oh, I'm so excited. But it took a video for him to message me, and he was so excited to work with me, and he mentioned that he had been following me for over 2 years on Instagram. 2 years! And I have no idea how he found me. No clue. But it's just people are watching you. People are watching you work, and they're watching you work on your newest series, and they're watching you develop and post, and your photos are getting better, and now you're creating video, and they're watching those too, and everybody is so busy, but they're taking note. And they're taking note that you're out there working. And one day they're going to hire you, but it might not be right now. And it might not be right now, like we mentioned, because they might not be ready. They might not be in the house that they're ready. They might not have enough money right now. They might, as soon as they get a really good job, they're going to buy something they might not be ready. Another thing is you might not be promoting yourself enough. You might not be reminding people enough that you're there every single day, and you might be missing those chances to where that one person gets online looking for a present for their mother for her birthday that is this week, and they need it this week, and then they see your stuff and they order a print. That could be another one. It's the right place, right time. However, I know that if you're going to be in this for the long game, people will eventually, right things happen, and people will eventually start ordering from you because they're watching you right now. People who pretend that you are invisible and that don't like your stuff, but they like seeing it, or have never commented on a post that you've made. They've never commented ever. They are watching you and waiting for you to produce the right thing, or say the right thing, or do a giveaway and get their email and bug them enough to where they order something from you. And they're cheering you on. I promise. People you don't know are cheering you on. And it's funny because just a little insight onto how I got started as well, and the support system that I had. It's funny that the people closest to you are usually your biggest doubters. And I say that in the best way. But I remember when I switched my major from business to art, and I remember my mother is amazing, and she's someone who will never tell me what to do. She will always tell me, you'll figure it out. I can't tell you what to do, you'll figure it out. My dad loves to tell me what to do based on his experience. So my mom, I remember her being like, okay, when I told her that I was switching my major from business to art. And I just remember being, okay, that's good, and not even wanting to really talk about it. She was like, I don't know about this. And actually, last year we talked about it because this whole thing was in my acceptance speech when I won an award last year, and she confessed, she was like, I was a little worried when you first started this. I was like, yeah, well, at least you didn't bluntly say it, or you didn't try to get me to do something else. She's like, yeah, I was just a little worried. She's like, your skills were okay. I was like, oh, thanks, Mom. My mom is also very blunt. And so just to remind you, my skills have not always been what they are now. I had to practice a lot, and they were okay when I was in college and when I took art classes. I remember being a good painter, but nowhere near I am now. And even my own mother was very skeptical whenever I told her I wanted to be an artist of some sort. My dad, on the other hand, he always tried to push me into being an artist. He had no idea how I was going to do it, but he was like, you're good at this. This is what you should do. And I was like, okay, Dad, I can't make a living at this. I remember, and then I just switched my major, still not even thinking that I could make a living at this. And he was like, okay, great. And I think he liked to tell me what to do, but when I actually did it, he was like, ooh, okay, is this a good idea? And he also confessed to that. He was like, I didn't know what to think, but, everything worked out. So, and I was also talking to a good friend of mine who just took the leap into recent full-time artistry, and I remember she was telling one of her family members, and they were just kind of looked at her blankly and was like, okay. And I remember she got a little bit emotional about that and was like, well, I'll show them. And I love that attitude, by the way. I love the I'll show you attitude, because that's what I have. I'm like, okay, just watch me go. And I remember telling her, I'm like, it's everybody will doubt you, because our profession is not the normal profession. And I was even talking to a parent here recently about, and I just shared this in a recent interview as well, but I was talking to a parent recently, and he was like, yeah, I want my daughter to shadow you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. So I took her out, and he's like, well, I hope she got that out of her system. I'm like, what? He did not like the idea of her being an artist at all. And it's just funny, because I think she has really good potential. And it's just comical that people don't see that as something good. And I think it's because we have this starving artist mentality, but right now is the best time for you to be an artist. With the pandemic, with everything. Everything is moving more online, and right now you can sell your art online really, really easily. Okay, I say easily, but it's like you have to put some work into it. But right now, I mean, imagine back in the day. Just imagine back in the day whenever they tried to sell their art and they had to go around from village to village, or you had to get hired to paint a cathedral or something, and women couldn't do it. It was an only men thing. And just imagine telling them, hey, you can press a button and you'll show your art to hundreds, and if not thousands of people, and they can decide if they want to buy it. They'd be like, what? They'd be like, first off, what's a camera? Okay, I'm getting a little off topic to this art is a long game episode, but you get the idea. Art, it's so the long game, and I hope you stay in it for the long game. And everybody that's doubting that you can do it, just go on Instagram and see all these artists, because that's something that I didn't have when I was just starting out. I wasn't able to see all of these artists doing their thing and doing amazing at it. And I guess that's kind of a double-edged sword as well, because you get to see all these artists doing amazing things, and it makes you feel so insignificant, because I get the same way. If there's an artist on Instagram and she's selling 20 prints a day, every day. And I'm like, well, I do that once a year. And, okay, well, and if they're making X amount, and I'm like, well, I'm only making this in comparison. And like, everybody compares, but it's really just, it's your race that you're running. And I feel like I'm just stepping on a soapbox for this whole thing. So let me get off that and wrap this up with that art is such a long game, and I hope you stay in it. And yeah, that's about it. All right, I'm out. I hope this has been a little inspiration for you, and I hope there's somebody out there. Is there just one of you out there that was like, I needed to hear this in order to not stop? I hope it helped you, because the fourth quarter is coming up, and we are inside of the Artist Academy Advanced going to make it our most profitable time of year. I'm so excited to go through all of this with all 100 members that we now have. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna get off here and go back to doing art things. I guess I will see you next week. This episode is sponsored by the Mural Master Program inside of the Artist Academy Advanced membership. This program is specifically designed to help you with every step of the mural process. From coming up with an idea, to finding a wall to paint it on, to pitching your ideas to businesses, and finally, of course, I teach you exactly how to paint large scale. Murals are a lot of fun and a great way to grow your art business. I know, because it has been one of the top ways that I've been able to grow my own art business as quickly as I have. With several years of experience as a muralist, I've dialed down the painting techniques, the proposals, the pitching, the whole bit. And now I've compiled it into one resource for you called the Mural Master Program. This is included inside of the Artist Academy Advanced membership, and I would love to invite you to join us by going to artistacademy.co, that is artistacademy.co, and click the link to see the Mural Master Program and learn more. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. If you review our podcast and send a screenshot of that review to me on Instagram, I am Art by Andrea Earhart. I will gladly share your art on my Instagram story with a reach of over 60,000 as a thank you for helping us grow this Artist Academy community. And speaking of community, if you would like to be a part of our absolutely free and very encouraging community on social media, just head over to facebook.com/groups/Artist Academy, and I will see you next week.